Let's go.
Awesome. Alrighty,
We
well,
love to see it.
thank you guys again so much. Is everyone hydrated and ready?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm speaking for everyone. You don't get a choice.
I have like massive water, so it's okay.
Yeah, me too. I got it right here.
Awesome. Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to another installment of my Dark Souls Bonfire Banter panel. This isn't limited to Dark Souls, but any Souls-like game that brings us together. This is episode 4, and I'm so excited to keep the series going. Every month we're bringing up new players, seasoned new people like myself, and creators of all types. If you are new here, it's all about the series is all about exploring the fun, the frustration, the community, and the creativity that makes Souls games a special part of the gaming culture. We're trying to keep things spoiler free, no gatekeeping though, just vibes, laughs, and thoughtful discussions. Names totally okay, because I get it. I'm going to ask questions about bosses. So use boss names. I have the brain of a goldfish. I'm going to forget by the time I get to that boss probably. Today's group is our next set of brave undead volunteers, and we'll be jumping in with the 5 different categories of questions. We're talking about gameplay, we're doing funny, whimsical questions, meta, debate, and content. And before we get into that first round of questions, I'm going to give everyone an opportunity to introduce themselves, tell us who you are, what kind of content you make, and a little shameless plug about you. So we're gonna go clockwise. So we'll start off with Gigi Jenkins.
Hi everyone, my name is Gigi Jenkins. You can call me Gigi, J, or Jenkins. I do a lot of platinum trophy hunting, challenge runs, and I am a retired 4-time world record holder speedrunner.
Oh my goodness.
It's a lot to fit in there. So, I mean, I adore the Souls games. We do a lot of Souls challenges. I recently just finished the world's first Dark Souls 3 SL1 no leveling challenge with a claymore. So that was really exciting, and I was crying so much. Like, I couldn't believe we did it. And we're currently tackling a BioShock playthrough. So we're doing BioShock all achievements in one playthrough on the hardest difficulty on a Guitar Hero controller. So that is what we are doing at the moment. Well, as well as like a chill kind of Elden Ring second playthrough. Thank you, 1V.
He's genuinely really cracked, guys. Seriously.
Thank you, Socks.
So leading into our next is gonna be Socks.
Hi. I am a Norwegian variety streamer with a main focus on Soulsborne content, but also horror. I used to be absolutely fucking terrified of horror, and I got a little bit less scared of it over time, with especially Resident Evil. I usually do challenge runs in all my first playthroughs of games, unless I just cannot be asked. And it varies a lot. Right now I'm doing my first playthrough of Hollow Knight. I'm generally really terrible at platformers, if I'm going to be honest, but I'm doing no healing on all bosses, and it's driving me absolutely insane. Right now in the Colosseum, for those who are aware, I do really the Souls series though. Absolutely one of the best franchises out there. I've done stuff like permadeath any percent Bloodborne. I'm working on permadeath any percent all bosses Bloodborne. Difference between permadeath and deathless, for those who aren't aware, is that you have to restart every single time you die. Like, you don't get the chance to practice full runs. I've done several of my first playthroughs of all the Souls games without leveling my vigor at all. And my community, we don't know what vigor, health, whatever you want to call it, is. It doesn't exist at all. And I like to say that I'm a calm and collected streamer, but don't tell my chat. But I'm more chaotic, if I'm going to be honest.
Oh, I love the calm, chaotic vibes, absolutely. And last but not least, the 1v2. Tell us who you are, all about the things.
So I'm a Scottish variety streamer by nature, but mostly same as Socks, focus on Soulsborne content for the majority of it. Been on that journey for quite a long time now. Done a lot of challenge runs, base level runs, and unhinged runs, and I'm currently working on my first hitless run, which I decided to do is Elden Ring, and it is not your standard meta. It is going to be, if I get it, I will get it. I'll be positive about this. Been a long time working on it. It's breaking my mental, it's destroying my soul, it's ripping it apart, but I'm working on longbow only for Elden Ring, any percent, and it is very, very challenging to say the least, and a little bit crazy, but like Socks, I very much, every time I play any game, goes on its hardest difficulty that's available, and I am known for first playthrough on Souls games. I never level up my vigor. I always play like a strength build. I've never used magic ever in any Souls game.
Wait,
to
never?
this day, and I
Never
used it. Never used magic at all.
Oh.
It's not that I have anything against it, it's just not my personal style. I like to make the games like as increasingly difficult as I can.
We found his new challenge one. The next one, chat.
Yeah.
That,
All
yeah,
Magic only.
use magic. Use magic.
Yes.
You don't get to do anything that doesn't involve magic.
Yeah, that would be a challenge run.
I like how you guys are saying that, like, you know, you don't level up certain things, and I'm like, you know what, it made me realize I've never leveled up my intelligence, and it's very fitting. Like, that seems like how my first run of Dark Souls is going, unintelligently. Thank you all so much for telling us a little bit about you. As far as the questions go, I know I gave you guys a couple of sneak peeks on questions we've asked in the past. I do have a ongoing question that I'm going to end us off with. It's the exact same I've asked in every single panel, so that's going to be saved for the end. But to start us off, we're going to have a little bit of a, you know, a funny icebreaker kind of like question. And for that, I have, if your playstyle had a theme song, what would it be? And I will start us off, and then I'll also be contributing to questions and stuff, and then we're going to work our way around so everyone has an opportunity to answer first. That way the pressure is changed. And so I'll start us off with this one. As far as if my playstyle had a theme song, what would it be? I think right now the song that comes to mind is like, I don't even know the name of it, but I see it so much on TikTok. It's like just about being like, oh, I don't want to do the dance and embarrass myself, but like, it's like pit bull terrier, and I'm just like, that is the terrier is like me, and then the pit bull is like my character who's just running around with a really big sword, and like, I need a big sword and just to bonk people, and that's kind of like what I'm going for.
I love it.
I love it too. Yeah, big bonk.
Yes, with big bonks is like a really great way that has helped me for my first playthrough. I am excited to try magic, but I don't know when that will be, and I'm pretty sure at that point I will have to probably level up my intelligence, so I'll avoid that for now. But to take us on with this question, we'll just go clockwise, so down into the 1v2. Tell us your song.
Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen sums up my playstyle, especially on Souls games.
Little high, little low.
Yeah. Is it just
Like
a
it.
fantasy?
Just
That's good. That's a good one.
Will I ever do it? Probably not. It's fine. We keep going. I don't have to play other games. It's fine. Do you know what?
That's true.
I have not actually bought a game since Night Rain, and I only played 10 hours of Night Rain, put it down because I just didn't like it.
Oh,
I
interesting.
want more Night Rain, and I just saw the trailer for the DLC.
I'm
I can't
excited.
wait. I'm so
excited.
It's just the 12th of December one, the big patch.
Wasn't that like 4th of December or something?
Is it 4th of December?
It's a
I think it was
December
relatively
time,
early at least.
just in time for my birthday,
Something
and
like
that's all. I'm like, yes, absolutely.
Hell yeah.
Happy birthday to
present.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. So Socks, if your playstyle had a theme song,
The Benny Hill theme.
For those of us
It's
who
all
don't
chaos.
know.
It's all chaos. For those that may not be aware, I have ADHD, so majority of the time, my ADHD is kind of what rules what goes on. I'm more of a run in first, ask questions later kind of person. So while sure, some is planned out, I kind of just like, we'll take it along the way. Who cares about like really learning anything? And then I'd rather go back afterwards and be like, okay, maybe we should actually read after. So yeah, Benny Hill. I even play it on stream to make fun of myself whenever runs go bad.
We'll love it. Yes. And GG.
So if we've got any like Devil May Cry lovers out there, I would probably say Devil Trigger. And it's just such a like really hype, I don't know, it's like not quite metal, but it's like electronic, and it's just like really fast paced, and just like that I feel like that describes me, because I just want to keep running it and keep running it and keep running it and keep like smashing my head against the wall until whatever I'm doing is done. And it's just always hype.
Yes, I understand the throwing myself at a wall until it happens. It's gonna, like, I'm like spaghetti. If it's not gonna stick against the wall, I'm not done.
Real.
So, continuing on to our next category, talking about gameplay, what's one weapon that you think everyone should try at least once in any of Souls-like games? So I started us off first last time, so we're gonna start off with the 1v2 this time.
Well, join my pain, join my hell. Come and join me in hell. Just use a bow. Nothing else. No buffs, nothing. Just go in, just be good.
I feel like bows are so underrated though.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Absolutely.
There's a reason. There's a reason.
Yeah.
We call my run the toothpick run for a reason. Because you're literally throwing toothpicks at all these big bosses. You're better using fists. You can fist Millennia quicker than you can kill her with a bow.
That's crazy. I love that though. I have recently discovered there's like this really big, I think it's called the Dragon Slayer bow, that I was using for a moment. Not with any skill or anything, of course, but it was fun. And then I faced a couple of archers in Orlando, and I was like, F bows, F these people. That's gonna be a no. So, Socks.
Ooh, I am honestly kind of like boring when it comes to weapons in general. I'm more about like movement than I'm about the weapon in and of itself, because I believe you can do just about anything you want with any weapon. But if I have to choose one that I don't believe I see people pick up that often, maybe the Naginata in Elden Ring. It's kind of like not in the normal path that most people play through. Kind of like off the beaten path in a random cave in Caelid. But is not by any means any of the strongest weapons ever, but it's very satisfying to play with.
Alright, very nice. And GG.
It's the Claymore. The Claymore is Baymore. Like, it's literally my favorite weapon.
Oh wow.
Love that.
So I think everyone should play with the Claymore. It's just so goated.
Yeah.
It's not quite like an ultra great sword, and then like the classifications kind of change through each game, so it's definitely a heavier weapon than it is in Elden Ring, than it is in Dark Souls 3. So like in Dark Souls 3, I'd just be like, you just give them the windshield wipers because you can swing it quite fast. But in Elden Ring, it's a lot slower, and I was just like really surprised by it. But it's still my baby, and I think everyone should try it.
And as for me, I've had like 2 swords that have carried me through my entire playthrough so far. There was the Uchikatana, and now I have been like big boy in it with the Black Knight Greatsword and just to pancake a couple people. And in the last time I played, or the 2 times ago, I cut off someone's tail, and I got a Dragon Greatsword, and it has a really, really fun moveset. It's not fast enough for me, and so I'm like, if I'm gonna be panic, like that's when I'm mashing buttons, and I need to be a little bit faster than what that sword was going to allow me to do. So I think those are some great ones to start off with, as far as like that I think people should play. I think at one point when I was starting, some people mentioned something about like a swag sword or something like that, and my brain is just like, I still have not come across it as far as I know, and I would be interested to like try and get it in another playthrough or in another game. And I'm sorry, my Socks, you mentioned having ADHD. My ADHD brain was just like, there's a dog. I didn't notice your dog, and I appreciate all the doggos. So, sorry.
Yeah, that's my dog. I get distracted by stuff like that too. I don't. I mean, she blends into my blanket on my bed too, so it's not that easy to see her always.
Yeah, and if I don't say something about it, like when I have that squirrel brain moment, like that's all I'm gonna think about. So. Awesome. So yeah, I'm really excited to try more weapons and see, like, you know, maybe one day I will also do a bow only when I'm like 50 and have beaten all the games.
And if you like torturing yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's what the Souls games is about. Torturing to learn, to improve and grow. Moving on into our next category, more meta-based. Do you think Souls games make players more patient or more stubborn? And to lead us off with this one, we're going to start off with Socks.
I think honestly it depends a little bit on how you are as a person from the get-go. I think it can teach you patience, but it kind of depends on how you go about it. Stubbornness is when you are throwing yourself at the wall, when you in reality should take a step back and maybe take a break, which is one of the first things any challenge runner will tell you to teach yourself when you start challenge running. Stubbornness can definitely be useful, but if patience is more down to like really teaching yourself, how does the boss move when it's doing that particular attack? How should I be moving in accordance with it, instead of being the stubborn, I'm gonna just throw my head in here and not think about what I'm doing and be sat it until it eventually goes down. Both can be useful for different things, I think, but I think everyone who plays Souls games, especially when you play a lot of them, will probably gain a little bit of both.
Absolutely.
It's a balance.
Yeah. Gigi?
I absolutely agree. I think it's a bit of both, because when you first start playing these games, like you're bad and you're gonna die, and you have to have the patience and really the perseverance to kind of keep going and not be deterred by that, because you know that this is the game teaching you. It's like, hey, you know, this is normal. You're gonna die a lot, and that's okay. But you can get better if you learn, you know, the enemy movesets and the boss movesets and stuff like that. And I think that just adds on really well to what Socks was saying. I mean, for me, I'm a big throw myself against the wall person. So being stubborn and fighting a boss for like 6+ hours, you know, it's not good. It's not good for you, but sometimes it pays off.
Absolutely, yeah. I think I am very much aligned with how you both have answered so far. It is a little bit about both. Like, I feel like the stubbornness comes from being like, no, I'm going to beat this boss, I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to keep throwing myself against the wall. And for me, personally, the patience has been like, once I'm in the fight, like, waiting for the moments to take an Estus flask, or being like, now is the moment to like step back and like not just be running in and getting like being fast and trying to win fast, and sometimes it's about like that taking that step to you know, wait for the right opportunity to hit them, or you know, taking a moment to breathe and reconnect, because like I am very much still a button masher, in the sense that like I will be doing like my right trigger or the right bumper, and I'm just like, hit faster, and the game's like, no, this is not how you do it, and I'm just like, okay, cool, it's fine, I'm just gonna take a break. And I feel like the biggest boss battle that helped me really learn that was Ornstein and Smoke, and like not just like running in and throwing myself at them all the time and having to be like, nope, hold on, they're doing things, I can come this way and do like heal and then run back and like stab them in the butt and then run away, and like not just trying to be fast, but like having that patience.
100%.
And the 1v2, how do you feel about stubbornness versus patience?
I would agree with all of you. It's like they're all great points. I will add the games do tend to, and we could all agree, there's a toxic side of the community that is out there. We don't really experience, well, we experience it with them coming in, but we don't experience it with the people that are close to us, like in the Firekeepers and good close friends, mods and everything like that. But I do feel like the games do create a stubborn community where people are just like, you know, the typical don't use summons, you have to use this while using a bleed build, and they become stubborn from playing the games and trying to make it as difficult for themselves, and there's just so much contradiction within that community as to like, okay, you like making the game difficult, but you hate hitless runners. We're making the game as difficult as possible, but you don't like it because we optimize things and make it as easy for us as possible, but that takes a lot of skill, it takes a lot of knowledge, it's a huge extensive community coming together, bringing all their shared collective knowledge to make everything as optimized. But I do feel like the games do create that stubbornness. But like you say, like I think if you're using stubbornness in like a good positive way within the games, then it's definitely advantages. Like I definitely create a lot of stubbornness within my run because my run has not been done. There was a lot about it that I couldn't use anybody else's runs. I couldn't shop about other runs. I had to create, like I had to root my entire run from scratch, and I just rooted that from my knowledge of the game, which is good, but not as extensive as like an entire hitless community altogether. There was just no advice I could get from everyone, no help. And then there was a point of where there were certain things that I was doing that a lot of other hitless runners, very well-renowned ones, like a lot of people know Prof and people know Gino, and these people would say to me like, don't do this, do that, and I'm like, no, I appreciate the advice, but I'm going to be stubborn, I'm going to stick at this. I understand what you know works for you best, but I know this works for me best. And I stuck at it, and I was stubborn to the point where they actually turned around and went, you know what you're doing, keep doing it, don't listen to us when it comes to that. And that paid off for me because I was stubborn about not changing my morals, but at the same time, like I'm not so stubborn that I won't take the advice and try it out and listen to people and at least test it out to see if it is something that might work and might be better than what I do.
I think those are such good points, 1B, especially like about there is a real dichotomy of the Souls community, and you know, like you said, like, you know, this little corner of Twitch that we have is so amazing and so supportive and so wholesome, but there are the, you know, the bigger, wider Souls community, and it there is a lot of, oh, you can't do this, why, and then, you know, you get the people who clap back and they're like, well, why are you torturing yourself like this? And like it's a lot, and I feel you, like,
Absolutely.
trying to do a run that no one has done before. I was trying to look up videos and it was my own dang videos, and I was like, I don't know what to do, I'm going mad.
Yeah, it's definitely something. It all comes down to the balance, really. It's also part of why I, among many other challenge runners, will always say that not only when you start challenge running, but when you start the games in general, a lot of people will be like, do you have any tips? Where should I start? What should I do? What weapon should I wear? Like, what stats should I level up? And I'm always like, whoa, hold your horses. what I find fun may not be fun for you. For Christ's sake, I'm out here making all games much more difficult for myself than they need to be from the get-go, from my first playthrough. That's not for everyone. The point of these games is to have fun. The point of gaming is to have fun. And if any of these things, like whether that's the community or stubbornness or anything, gets in the way of you, you need to take a step back and think about, like, what do I want to gain out of this, and start from there. Don't listen to all these toxic people online. That it's the internet. People are always going to be toxic, especially if you are femme representing. People are going to be even more toxic towards you. They're gonna come in and be like, "Whoa, a girl who's playing Souls games? That's so crazy." When in reality, I know hundreds of girls who play Souls games, right? Do what's fun. Do what brings you joy, and that's varied from person to person.
Yeah. I feel like there was a time when I ran into my first summon signal on the ground, and I took a second and I was like, hold on. Like, all of my Dark Souls content is uploaded to YouTube, and I like took a moment and I looked into the camera and I was like, hey, this is built into the game. If you're gonna come into my comments and be like, why are you doing that? Like, this is my first time playing, so how about let me try the things that are built into the game before I try doing things that aren't a part of it. And like, I had to have that moment of being defensive, and of course people still came in and they're like, well, you're using summons, it doesn't really count. And I'm like, yeah, but I I'm doing the things. And that's like enough for me as somebody who never thought that they would play any types of Souls games. Watched JenIsOnline play and like watched her have a lot of fun playing these games, and I was like, oh, so people are saying it's just misery, but there are people who find ways to make it fun and laugh at themselves and have a good time. And so like, whatever I have to do, like the amount of times I laugh at myself because I die in a stupid way, or I fell and died because of gravity. Yes, it sucks, but it's hilarious at the same time. So, yeah. No, people are gonna find ways to like you said, it's the internet and people are always gonna find something to like nitpick, or like you could hand them a cake and they're gonna be upset that you didn't give them a cupcake. So, that's just how it is.
You're never gonna please everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Continuing on, do you think that future Souls games should be easier, harder, or stay about like the same difficulty that they have been? And I believe GG is starting us off with this one.
I think with what NeoWiz has done and introduced difficulty options, I think that should be allowed. I think you should be able to play the game however you want. Don't let me or anyone here or anyone online tell you that you didn't finish the game for real because you didn't finish it on the standard difficulty. You know, just don't listen to those people. I think going forward, NeoWiz has really opened the door to that discussion and saying like, hey, that option is still available to people, but why not let it be more accessible to people who have never played these games before? So I think it would be a great option to have difficulty options going forward.
Yeah, I totally agree. This was actually a big conversation I had just recently with my fiance about like having games be more accessible, because like I guess WoW is introducing a one button build, and I was like, absolutely, yes, that's great. Like, let's get more of that in games. Like, people have mods to make things easier, and then there's people who do things on the opposite side to make games harder, like by doing bow only, or, you know, no magic runs, all of the things, the hit list, the death list, all of the things that people choose to do to make it more challenging. Like, why not have options to make it more, you know, accessible to people? Like, and allow more people to enjoy this game. Like, gaming is for everyone, and I know not everyone still agrees with that, and it's not ideal, especially in the world that we're in and the climate of, you know, looking at different genders and disabilities and finding ways to make it accessible for everyone to enjoy it and find, you know, like the joy in whatever game it is. I feel like it should be allowed and not frowned upon.
100%.
Yeah.
I agree.
1v2?
GG just brought up like the exact same point I was going to bring up. Like Neil was opening up that conversation, that discussion is, I feel, a huge positive thing, because my experience with people that I know, like from streaming and just extensive gaming with other people and networking and friends of friends and stuff, I have so many people, like a great variety of like social circle of people that just don't play these games like at all. They're just very, very ultra cozy kind of like people. They just like to play Voyagers of Nera, just something where there's just like no particular challenge as it is combat and stuff, and they would never even think about playing these games for a single second, not even to try it, because the thought of doing it is daunting. But since NeoWiz implemented that difficulty slider, and because I've still not played Lies of P, I'll get to it one day when I do the challenge run, but I know of it very well. I've watched people play it. I know it's more epic for its story, like it actually has a story, and that's what set it aside from soft games. Like you still get that Souls-like difficulty, but you're actually getting a coherent story you could follow very linearly, which you can't with a Souls game. You need like 2,000 hours of Vatty videos, and even then it's all just up in the air. It's just all, you know, what people come up with fandom. But like for people to do that, like to be able to jump into that game, and these people are just like, oh, I'm going to play this game, and they've all played it and they've all enjoyed it, and then, you know, when they finished it and finished a couple of runs of it, they've then went and put the difficulty slider to normal, which I believe on Lies of P is its normal, like how it released difficulty slider, and they've went through and played that because they've got that little bit of confidence, a little bit of experience of knowing the movesets and knowing the map and stuff. So that just leads on to them to, oh, I'll go try Dark Souls 3, I'll go try Dark Souls 1. You know, they'll expand into different things. I do not see it as a bad thing, having that. It's only a positive thing, because just like Elden Ring, the Souls community and Souls games was still, it still is a little bit niche, but it was very niche up until the point Elden Ring came out. Elden Ring was what commercialized the genre completely, and since then, like, so many developing companies have upped their game and tried to replicate it and copy it, and we have so many Souls likes for that. So for people to be proud of Elden Ring doing that, implementing a difficulty slider to take that out to the next stratosphere of more gaming community, it's just not going to be a bad thing. We're going to get more people interested in developing these games, playing the games. We're going to get to enjoy those games a lot more, and it creates a good, healthy competition as well. Because I know for a fact From Software sitting there in the background just going, they've done that and it's been successful, we can't not really do it. And it's a case of them, they have to up their game now, because NeoWiz is the only company that's been able to replicate and challenge them very directly within the genre that they've created for so long.
Yeah, wow. And to end us off with this question, Socks.
I majorly agree with everyone, but I am going to be that annoying person to say I don't necessarily think it's going to work with From Software's games specifically. I absolutely think that everything should be more accessible, especially in the sense of like actually having more, you know, controls that are usable for people that are, you know, physically disabled or mentally disabled in a way that makes them less able-bodied physically. Because I don't think that necessarily has anything to do with difficulty, but more in a sense of like them actually being able to actually in the first place physically play the game. I think a lot of people will not necessarily enjoy the From Software games just for the story, because they're from the get-go isn't really any story unless you're looking for it, and I don't think most people are going to go looking for it unless they already know what they're looking for, unless they are lore hunters. And as such, I think it might honestly, potentially, from Software's perspective, unless they plan to go more of the road that NeoWiz did with Lies of P, with a more like, a little bit more obvious story for you to experience when you're playing, I think From Software might actually see it as a net loss for them to put in all that effort into creating several difficulties, and they might even be a little bit scared of veering out of their comfort zone and something that they know they have a very, very, very loyal fan base for. Because I can already hear the drama screeching if they were to put in difficulty modes. I personally wouldn't mind, because like I will just knock it up to the highest difficulty immediately and just be like, okay, whatever, I'll do that. But I just know what the Souls community is like, I know what people are like, and I sadly think that as great as Neo is and Lies of P is, I don't think they're a big enough competition in the market for FromSoft for them to really pivot in that direction fully. Maybe if they ever decide to do a more like story heavy game, I could see them doing it. But honestly, especially knowing how like the most recent game we have from them, which isn't even the main team with Night Rain, I just don't see them doing it. It would be great, mind you, that my personal opinion, it would be great. I think everything should be accessible for people. I don't understand why we shouldn't have accessibility, but I'm seeing it from more of like a little bit realistic perspective that I don't know, I don't see them doing it.
I think that's such a good point though. Like they are very like, this is what works for us, so why would we change? And you make a good point that maybe they're not scared of NeoWiz. Like, as we brought up, like, it's opened the door. They're like, you know, it's up to them whether or not they do something with that. They don't have to. They're FromSoft. They're big enough to kind of do what they want.
Yeah.
Stubbornness.
They cannot.
And they can be stubborn.
Earn the
They can be
niche.
stubborn. Yeah.
Yeah, they can be neat. They can be stubborn. They can do whatever the fuck they want, because realistically speaking, they know people are going to eat it up as long as it's what people are expecting from them. And they put in the work into making good games. They're always going to make good games, but whether or not they're going to, honestly, I can only see them upping the difficulty and not squishing the difficulty from what I've seen thus far. I think everyone should have the opportunity to play a game, to experience it, whether they want to have it be difficult or not. And also, like, if we're going to bring in Elden Ring into that conversation again, like you guys mentioned, how Elden Ring was a lot more accessible for people. I don't hate Elden Ring. I just want to preface that I think Elden Ring is a great game. I think it's a terrible Souls game. I don't think it's a Souls game whatsoever.
I agree.
I think it's an absolutely horrendous Souls game. It doesn't work. Souls games are linear games. That's part of what actually adds the difficulty aspect into the game. The fact that you do have to beat against one of two walls at most to finally get to the point you need to get to. Elden Ring is amazing, and I like the idea of it being more accessible because people can go where they want to, so you can level up and come back again. Technically speaking, you can do it in the older games too, but not to the same extent. But it removes so much of the aspect of what I love in Souls gaming, and I, technically speaking, think that difficulty spectrum, like a slider or however you want to do it, would work better with a linear game than an open world game as well.
Yeah. Also a really great point, yeah. Not that I have played Elden Ring, but I have watched enough to see. I have heard lots of things about certain bosses, and it's you know, I think we all made really good points. So yeah, I mean, that is why that one is like the debate category of our questions. So our next little category is going to be content based, like about the content you make on different types of platforms, different social media. And starting us off for this one is going to be Gigi, and it is, you know, is there a clip or a moment that, you know, unexpectedly kind of like introduced you to more people, got more people coming in whatever sense that looks like for you?
I really don't know. I guess like it's really hard to think. Like the last kind of like actual YouTube video I made was of my Bloodborne BL4, and as far as like content creation goes, like it's not something that I've really been doing. I mainly focus on streaming, and then I try and like squish it all in there, you know, and it's just a lot. So I've taken a big step back from that, and this year I'm really just focusing on like short content. And I would say like a lot of um, a lot of Souls clips honestly get big reach because there's so many different ways to play the game. So when I did the Claymore only Dark Souls 3, there was a good handful of hateful comments of people just going like, you cheated, like there's no way, your health is too big, you can't use this, and then I just kind of hit them with like facts and logic. But at the same time, that engagement pushes it forward more. So thank you haters for commenting on my stuff.
Any publicity is good publicity, as they say.
Yeah.
Never delete a hate comment. Never delete a hate comment.
Literally.
Let it stay there. It's a pin of shame.
Exactly. Hit them with facts and logic, and or just straight up sass. Like, it's someone on the internet. Like, all right, cool. Like, I'm not sure, but in terms of that, I would say like I'm getting a lot more reach with kind of like my Souls short, especially on YouTube, and I've made a lot of new friends on TikTok as well. So it's been really nice to discover some new people.
Yeah. For me, I created these questions, and sometimes I'm just like, man, I don't have anything for that. I feel like the biggest thing was most recently that someone specifically came over from like YouTube into a live stream of me playing, because I'm putting all of my playthrough onto YouTube, but then anytime I beat a boss, I do a 5-minute Microsoft Paint challenge of that boss, and they have like the skill level of a kindergartner, and
That makes it better.
Yeah. And there have been times people come in and they're like, I guess not something unexpectedly like blew up, but like to see the people coming from like one platform to another, and like that cross between, and even times that like people on Twitch come over and they comment or do anything on the YouTube, just like seeing that like community in the larger sense of like not a Twitch community and not a YouTube community, but like the Souls enjoyer community is like kind of that moment for me that it made the connection of being like, this is everywhere. Like everywhere you go, someone is gonna post something. Like, it sucks because I'm trying to do everything blind, and so like I'll post all of my YouTube content and everything, and YouTube is like, hey, watch this video on like 5 secrets. I'm like, no, I don't want to know the secrets. Please keep them away from me. I will watch it when I have beaten the game, but other than that, stay away. And so I feel like just really the cross between was a blow up for me in the sense of a realization moment, more so than the actual content. So
That's really sweet to just like have that sense of community.
Absolutely.
Yeah. 1v2. Do you have any moments?
To be honest, like most of my community, well, the majority of the community comes from becoming a hitless runner. I had a lot of people that stuck with me through the challenge running and everything, but my content originally, like when I started streaming, was predominantly horror. Horror content was just like what I was known for, and then I just got to a point where I was just like, I want to go back into Souls games, and I just started with a little, just like, I don't know, we'll do it once a week, we'll do a little fun challenge run. So I started on DS3, fists only all the way through it, and that was good. But the people that like the horror, that community built up around that. So but I was really enjoying the Souls games and didn't realize how draining horror had kind of become for me, just being the same thing all the time. And every streamer experiences that at some point. And I was just like, I just need to change. I need to switch up. And eventually when you do those kind of changes, it's always the fear of every content creator is just like, what happens. Do people leave? Do people stay? You'll have your loyal people, your mods and everything, but there will be people inevitably, and I took a big dip on that. But you know what, like I was like, I don't care, like I'm enjoying myself. I'm not here to be big, I'm not here to blow up or anything. Like I fear that. Like, do not raise me with like 1,000 people or get me to that point, because that kind of thing is just not what I'm here for. I'm here to just be with a small community. I focus a lot on mental health and just having good, rounded, intelligent conversations with people and meeting people that are just alike. So I'd prefer to have that intimacy and that smallness. But the Hitless community like have been very extremely supportive of me, the networking I've done, the people I've met like through GG, and there's a couple of people that are regulars in your chat, they pop into mine quite regularly too, and so on and so forth. Some of my people like from raiding you because you're doing challenge runs, and I brought people over to Socks from time to time too that have come back inevitably and stuff. So all of that, like I feel like with the Souls community, for me personally, comes from the networking and having good networking, not a case of like going in networking for the purpose of like, oh, I'm going to steal your viewers, I'm going to be nice. Like, it's just a case of like being fucking genuine with people and just, you know, developing real lasting good friendships that you will have, albeit like some of us might never ever meet each other and we might not have that regularity of every single week discussing or something. But me and Socks had like a good like relationship to begin with. Like, you were messaging me on Discord and you had a lot of concerns about things. We had good discussions and stuff in there. It goes quiet for a little bit. That's just how it goes, but we always come back to each other, and it's because of the positive interactions you always build with those people. So I always kind of like focus my growth on that more than content coming from other places. That is like Soulsborne content is my primary content, but it's not the focus of my content.
Yeah, my gosh, your answer hit me in all of the fuzzy feels. Like,
It really did.
yeah, that was lovely. I love that, like, small moment of like appreciation for like what this panel has been able to do is bringing together people that I might not have had connections with otherwise. Like, there's the Firekeepers is this huge, strong community of people, and like having an opportunity to have these one-on-one conversations and get to know new people, I feel like for me personally has been really lovely. Like, the very first one I did, I got to connect with like Crazy Grey Goose and Crawdaddy-O, and now I'm in their streams all the time, and I can't wait to like have that continue and, you know, have this moment of time together to get to know one another on the level of souls, and like then have the opportunity to grow that. And
I mean,
so,
it's actually funny knowing that like 1v2 Jay and I already all knew each other. It was very random that we all ended up on the same panel.
I love it though. That's so lovely. So Socks, what about you? Any blow up type content?
Not really, honestly. I feel like I mean, sure, like some clips will be like mini blow-ups, but nothing like viral or anything.
Yeah.
I feel like it's very rare that people actually migrate from my other platforms over to my streams, and it's kind of odd because like not that I'm seeing any like extreme growth while live either, but people always talk about like how your main growth will come from other platforms, right? And I feel like I see more growth when I'm live and on Twitch than I ever feel like I get from other platforms. Sure, I do get like some traction. Sometimes a video will, like a short will get like 10k views, right? All of a sudden, and then it just plummets back down again. I feel like I, in the same sense as with 1v2, have mostly like focused more on actually getting to know other streamers, like networking in that sense. Obviously not to take other people's views, but like it's been more of a focus to actually build like a community of people that understands what actually is to be a streamer and how much work goes into it, because there's so many people who constantly are like, oh, streaming is like the easiest job in the world. You just sit down, us live and then you play games, and it's like, sure, from like an outside perspective, that may be what it seems like, but like you're entertaining, you are your own manager, you're your own editor, you are your own social media manager. Like there's so many things that go into it, and it's honestly this year, which is the year coincidentally I joined the Firekeepers. I've seen a little bit of an up and a down and dips in numbers and stuff, but I feel like I've gotten to know quite a few really, really, really great people, and it's given me like a much like more like positive outlook on everything as a whole, and made me make some bad decisions for myself. And it's nice to just be like, yo, fuck it, Twitch fucking sucks. To someone that actually understands why I say that, and not someone that's just like, I get it. But like, if you say that to any streamer on Twitch, they'll be like, yeah, no, fuck them, right? It's
Yeah.
I think this has been like, yeah, go on.
Oh no, you finish. You go, no, please.
It's just been like a realization of a year, like it's more important to me to have people that I can call friends and like bounce ideas off of and talk about the fun and unfun sides of streaming together than it means to me about like having a video that reaches like 100,000 views all of a sudden. Yay, yeah, it's super fun in the moment, but like if you kind of like capitalize off of that immediately, if you don't know how, most people are never going to capitalize off of virality. So slow growth will always be better if you're looking for growth at all. But yeah, I agree with 1v2, like networking and gaining solid like actual connections with people is going to pay off a lot more in the end, both like mentally and in like a positive sense, in like you gaining friends, and also lead to more opportunities in the future.
I think like sorry. I think Socks brings up a really, really good point that maybe people don't realize, that streamers do a lot like behind the scenes. Like, yes, we stream 2, 3, 4 times a week even, but then, you know, behind the scenes you're cutting up your clips, you're editing your clips, you're posting on social media, you're, you know, interacting with your friends, you're hanging out in people's streams, you know, it is a 24/7 job, and it's hard, it's tough. I burn out at least a couple times a year, at least, from it, because it's so much. And, you know, I'm very lucky to have met so many other streamer friends that I can just be like, I'm going through it, and they're like able to help pull me out of it, you know, and just kind of sit me down and just be like, we just talk everything out, and we're just like, if it's time to take a break, you know it's time to take a break, you know, and like and it builds on what both Socks and what 1V were saying, like community is the most important thing. It really is. Like, yes, you could get tons of views on YouTube and stuff like that, but the conversion rate is extremely low. I've checked. I've checked the numbers.
Yeah,
it's real low. So I appreciate every single person that comes into my chat. Rox, I see you. Behave. I appreciate every single person that comes into my chat, and I want to sit down and I want to get to know them. And that's what 1v2 was saying. Just being able to like have those chats with people. What are you doing this week? How's your day going? What are you playing? Oh, we're talking about this movie. Oh, you know, like, I am a serial yapper, and I love talking to everyone. I can't help it.
And that's really what it's like. Honestly, like, if you are in streaming for almost any other reason besides that, except if you're like world renowned, like the best of this game, like, you know, that's what it should be about. And when I made the decision to like finally like, you know, push for partner, I went to Jen and I was like, hey, I want this. I'm not saying I'm like doing anything extra or anything, but like I'm manifesting it. I'm putting it out onto the internet, into the world, into the universe. And she was like, okay, why? And I was like, this is gonna sound super cliche, but like I'm not good at making friends. I am super introverted when it comes to like my real life. Like my colleagues, they have their like little cliques and everything, and my corner is very niche within my agency that like I only interact with a couple of people. And so like I told her, I was like, I just wanted to make more friends. I want those connections. I want to have genuine connections with people, like to where we can just talk about movies, we can just yap. Like it doesn't matter if we're actually not playing a game, like people are there to hang out. And sometimes like if I can create a place for, you know, parallel play or even body doubling, anything like that, like there are times I have the most chaotic stream on the side, and like that's how the first time I was able to climb to the peak by myself is I was watching a fellow firekeeper go against this boss, and she was like throwing herself against the wall, and like this boss in Bloodborne did a lot of screaming, and it was chaotic, and I was like, I have no idea what's going on, but this is like the environment I need. And like, you know, watching her try and like being over there and be like, you got this. And then I'm also like doing my own thing, and like it's so nice to have the connections of streaming.
100%.
It really is.
Yeah, absolutely. So that is our first round of questions, friends. So we're going to take a little 5-minute break, rehydrate, stretch, anything you need to. We will come back in just about 5 minutes and continue on with our second round of questions.
Sounds good.
Awesome. I'll see you guys then. Getting us back into questions, I believe the last time, Gigi, you had answered first last time. So starting us off for our final round of questions, what's a boss or enemy you used to hate but eventually grew to appreciate? And, you know, for me, chat. Okay, I was gonna say chat is very concerned that they don't know the dog's name, but I saw that you put it into
Yeah.
chat.
Her name is Maev.
Maev, that's adorable.
Yes, it's a World of Warcraft name.
Okay.
Yes, I'm a nerd.
I
If that
feel
wasn't
like a
clear.
boss that I at one point hated but grew to appreciate was I feel like it's a really big tie, and like the two hardest bosses I have had, two hardest boss battles I've had, that like, you know, I was like my version of stream raging into then being like, okay, like what can I take from this, and like being able to appreciate it that way. Of course, like for me, it's Ornstein and Smo or Sif. And apparently, according to other people, I went against Sif a lot earlier than I was supposed to, and still is like the number one amount of attempts that it took me for a boss in my first Dark Souls playthrough. It took me 23 tries, and you know, I had to actually learn how to dodge and how to roll, and like it was a really big learning moment for me. And of course, like now looking back, we're learning more lore. Like I just went against Artorias, and it gave me some feels.
Best boy.
Yeah.
Literally.
So now like he is up there in like the daddies of Dark Souls for me, and I'm here for it. So yeah, wasn't happy going against them as much as I did, but you know, the lessons and like the learning and the perseverance that it taught me, especially for my first playthrough, has been great. What about you? 1v2? Any bosses that you didn't like but now appreciate?
Yeah, Malekith. Malekith was the boss and only boss to this day that has bullied me more than anything. I don't know what it was. So in my first playthrough of Elden Ring, I've got records, I've got proof of it. I first tried Millennia. First try. But Malekith, I sat there for 37 hours collectively on the first playthrough trying to beat this, and he just destroyed me, bullied me. And then, alright, so when the game first came out, I got a little unhinged, I got a little bit addicted. I went to NG plus 13, like back to back in like the space of a month. But every playthrough I did, every single build that I did was always tailored with him in mind. And I grew such a huge fondness and respect and appreciation for him to the point where I kind of feel like a big connection with him. When I step into that arena, like, I respect him because I know what I've been through, and he could just annihilate me every time, which is fearful because even though I know him the best, more than any boss, because he is the one that I focused on the most, I know his movesets off by hand. I could pretty much do it blindfolded, but there's always that that fear of how bad he bullied me every time I step into that arena. Even though I have that respect, because I know he could just switch it up on me very greatly. But not only from that, I love my Elden Ring lore, I love Soulsborne lore. Like, I've watched every Vati video, I've got the entire Tune Fairweather collection there, all limited editions, paperback, everything. Like, I will just sit and go through it all. And when I started to understand Malekith's lore, I was just like, you know what, I really love this guy because it's beautiful lore. That's the one thing I love. Like, I'm very much with you, Socks, in the agreement of don't think Elden Ring is a great Souls game, but when it comes to the lore, some of the lore about some of the bosses is
Amazing,
incredible
yeah.
compared to
It's a
other
really good
things.
game.
Very well written. There's even lore about enemies, just random enemies, like the what's his name? What's the name of the NPCs with the golden armor? Everybody hates Elden Ring.
Oh, you
Not the
think
Draconic
the
Tree
Crucible Knight?
Sentinels.
Oh.
Crucible Knights, right? So
Crucible
there's that
Knight,
one
yeah.
Crucible Knight that's in Far Missoula that you see alone standing at a dragon. There's lore about him, and I swear down, everybody, I encourage everybody to go and look at this lore about this one Crucible Knight who is just a nobody in the game. But when you look up the lore of him, although it is fandom lore, it makes a lot of sense. And when you read that, I guarantee you every player, once they've read that lore, will never try to kill him again. You will feel sorry, you will cry when you read that lore. Like, it is so depressing.
I avoid him anyway, if I'm going to be honest.
I mean, rightly so.
Fuck that.
Socks, any bosses, or I mean, even into NPCs and other players?
I will say, preface this with, and my community knows this, that I have a tendency to say a lot of shit that I don't necessarily mean in the middle of tries on boss fights. Oh my god, I hate this so much. Oh my god, this is the worst fight I've ever been in my entire life. Constantly, shit like that. So I'm always like, take whatever I say with a grain of salt while I'm actually fighting. I don't think there's any boss that I've straight up disliked while fighting them that I've ended up liking afterwards, because I'm very, very aware of what I actually like in boss fights. But one of the most painful things I've ever done on a first playthrough was specifically Bloodborne, where I didn't level my health, and I came face to face with Orphan, of course. And for those that know, they know. The most painful thing in my entire life, in terms of challenge winning ever. And he's one of my absolute favorite bosses in the entire franchise.
Alright. Gigi?
I would probably say the Lady Maria. I kind of loved her from when I fought her the first time, but she was so dang hard, you guys. She's really, really hard. And just each subsequent playthrough, the more that I fought her, the more I fell in love with that boss fight, because it is such a dance, and it's so slick, and damn, she kicks my ass a lot, but it feels good. But I would also have to say Dark Souls 3, another one, like Gale. Gale is just my favorite boss, and the first time that I fought him, it was hard. It was really, really hard, and especially after the run that I just did. I was so looking forward to him because I just have that respect, that mad respect for him as a boss. And it was just pure cinema. Pure, like, he's a pure cinema boss, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Kind of changing gears back into our funny category. Starting us off with this one's gonna be 1v2. Which NPC would have the best cooking show and why?
Oh, good question. Do you know what? I'm gonna say Gastok from Elden Ring. I feel like his would be very interesting because he just smashes up brains. He gonna cook up some interesting things. He is an overlooked NPC, especially in that game. He has a very interesting, very small part in it, but very interesting.
Love it. Sauce?
At first I was like, our best boy Solaire would probably like have the best cooking show ever, just based off of how he is as a person. But then I thought a little bit more and I was like, you know what would be absolutely stinking hilarious would be a Patches cooking show. I think I'd pay to watch Patches do a cooking show. It would be horrendous. You wouldn't learn anything. Everything would taste foul, but it would be the greatest experience of your entire life.
GG?
I kind of think Emma from Sekiro, she's very like mother-like figure, and I mean she gives you the healing gourd, like she's the one who puts that together. So I feel like she could probably make like a mean soup or I don't know, like a sandwich or something. I don't know. I feel like she could make you like a yeah, soup and a sandwich.
Go back to the kitchen, Emma.
That's why she attacked me. Okay, got it.
Yeah. I will say no.
For me, I feel like
Oh my
there's a
gosh.
lot of NPCs that I still haven't like encountered. Like the main ones that I know off the top of my head is like Onion Bro, Solaire, and like those are the two that I can think of. I feel like a co-cooking show between the two of them would be great. You don't see, so far from what I've experienced, I don't see a lot of interaction between the two of them. You know, sometimes they're both in similar areas, but other than that, you know, I feel like they would vibe really well together, and it would just be a fun time of like cozy, and like it would be fun to like have Solaire be going on like a little like monologue about the sun, and in the meanwhile like Onion Bro starts like napping in the corner, and I think it would just be a really fun cozy time.
As someone called out in the chat, S the soup.
That's the soup.
Yes. Yeah, I was thinking
it's
about Onion Bro from Dark Souls 3, that he actually cooks he does cook Esther
Oh,
soup,
does he?
so
Yeah.
I think he's the only one that we know for sure actually cooks.
Yeah.
Well then, that's great.
Maybe, yeah.
So if you want a lore accurate answer, I suppose him.
Mhm.
But if you want a true crime show posed as a cooking show, Patches.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I think Patches is such a good answer.
It is, yeah. So, you know, shifting away from the funnies, more meta-based, why do you think players form such strong emotional bonds with the Souls-like worlds? And Socks, you're taking us away on this one.
Why people forge strong bonds with the Souls worlds?
Yeah.
Okay. Ooh, I think it's very individual. For me specifically, it's how I met a big portion of my own community. Like that's what introduced me to a lot of people, what made me grow closer to a lot of people. And I've also played a lot of them during some really difficult times in my life, and it's taught me a lot of things. So they mean a lot to me in that sense. I think I, like a lot of other people, tend to grow the closest to the first one we do play to its completion. For me, that would be Dark Souls 1, because that's where I started. That's ultimately what led me to where I am right now. I think it can be anything from like learning, like we talked about earlier, learning about patience and becoming more stubborn, or loving the world and the characters that inhabit it, or just what it looks like, or again what you experienced while you were playing it. I, for example, Seth looks a lot like my dog, so I was bawling while I was playing Dark Souls 1 for the first time. So yeah, I know, maybe a little too broad of an answer. I think it's very individual, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. Gigi, what do you think?
I think it really depends what's going on in your life at that time as well. I think, at least for me, and I do agree with Socks, it is very personal. Everyone has their own story, right? So for me, like, I started the Dark Souls games because I was looking for a challenge. You know, some of my favorite games are like Fallout and Skyrim, and I play a lot of those games, and I had never played anything like Dark Souls before, and I was looking for that challenge, and I kind of went, you know what, I'm gonna do it. But I also was going through a lot of shit, like emotionally and mentally, and they really gave me something to funnel all of that frustration into. So I could keep going. I could keep dying. I'm gonna keep going. And I don't know. It just kind of helped to process those emotions in a sense, at least for me. And I've also met, you know, so many of my close friends now through the Souls games and my community and outwards, you know. So I think it's a lot of different aspects in that regard.
I feel like for me, like, I am still in my very first playthrough of any Souls-like game, and I feel like I'm forming connections because I'm also forming connections with my community at the same time. Like, when I first started, like, I had people guess how many times I was gonna die in my entire first playthrough. I had people tell me, like, in my personal life, they're like, you're not gonna beat that game, like, it's too hard. And then that's like kind of when I was like, oh, hold on, hold my beer, I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna keep doing it, and I'm gonna not stop. And just being able to have those celebratory moments of being like, I just beat this boss that we just spent an entire stream going against. You know, the small victories of being like, I didn't die to gravity this week. Like, that's a happy moment for me. And like, getting to celebrate those together and like watching as people, like, not only am I enjoying the game, but like my community and my friends are, you know, they're supporting me and getting to celebrate these wins with me. Like, I remember Jen was in chat, like, when I beat the Asylum Demon, and like, we were all so hyped because like that was the first boss, and like so many people were like, yeah, I quit at the tutorial boss, and I was like, that's crazy. But also, like, to each their own. Like, I'm gonna keep going, and I'm super ready for the challenge. I'm in the process of putting together an entire montage of all of my deaths, and like I said earlier, every time I beat a boss, I draw them in 5 minutes in Microsoft Paint, and like having those extra moments of, you know, the connectivity with people is really what, for me, is forming the bonds to make it so like I want to keep going. I want to play all of them and see where it takes me. So,
yeah, I think that's so lovely, that idea that you have where you draw the bosses in paint.
Me too.
I think that's so fun.
I really like that.
They are, you know, my fiance says that they're candy Pokemon, but some of them just look like blobs, so it is what it is. Like, I just, you know,
That's the charm of it, honestly.
Yeah,
I felt
exactly,
so bad,
exactly.
like, there was we attached a meme to the most recent one, which is when I drew Artorias, and my mod Pilsy was like, you know, insert Godfather meme, like, they massacred my boy, like, what did they do to my boy? And I was just like, I did him injustice, but he is adorable in his own little sense.
Oh my gosh.
That's really funny.
I've had a lot of fun with it. It's stressful. When
I mean, that's what matters at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, 1v2, why do you think people form such emotional connections to these games and the worlds?
For me personally, like I agree with Socks. It's very individual to whoever is playing it and how they basically just put themselves with it. But I think as a generalization that really pulls a lot of players in is honestly the dark fantasy setting. I think the dark fantasy setting is just something that's very appealing to a lot of gamers. Whereas you can have like a shooter. Yeah, sure, there's people that like shooters, but not everybody likes a shooter. Not everybody likes a base builder game and stuff like that. But I think dark fantasy is just that sort of like small niche of games within fantasy is like a total genre that really just like has a romantic side to it to a lot of people. Like Bloodborne, very popular, not because of its like it was a great game, had great bosses and was very different from the rest of the Souls game. It was its Victorian Gothic aspect. Like that has always been something that has been very popular with so many cultures over generations, is that very particular like architect style and everything from that period. And that being in that game, I feel definitely took that game up a lot because of its level design and everything. So I feel like the dark fantasy aspect is something that's very strong, that brings a lot of people in visually anyway, and brings them in to begin with like, oh, I've got something very beautiful to look at. But then as you go through the game, it's like Sock says, it then becomes very individual to like, what outside of that within the game do you get drawn into the most? Is it the bosses? Is it the lore? Is it just certain particular characters like Solaire and Onion Bro and Sif and everything? Like everybody will take a little bit of something different from each game.
Yeah. I love it. Continuing on, this one is based on Invasion, so I don't know how much it applies into other games. I don't know if invasions are universal in Souls games. I think.
For the most part, except for
For the majority.
Sekiro, I think, is the only one that doesn't have it.
Okay. So, based off of that, do you think that, are they a beloved feature or a necessary evil? And starting us off with this one is going to be GG.
I think this is such a split camp because there are people whose livelihoods is to literally just invade people and make their day worse. And that's what gives them life. And then there's the other side, which I feel like maybe the majority of us, we just play offline. We just want to have a good time. So I think for the most part, I think it's interesting what they put in there, but for me, it's literally not needed at all. The game stands on its own 2 feet, and I think what they introduce in Elden Ring, where you have like an arena, a coliseum type thing, is good. If you want to go participate in PvP, you go do that. That's super. But I just feel like invasion mechanics only serve to make my life more annoying and worse.
Yeah, more miserable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm very much on the side of I like to play offline. When I first started, I was not offline and just beat this big guy, was celebrating, about to pick up his stack of items, and then all of a sudden I get this like message on the bottom. It was like, somebody has invaded. What does that mean? What does that mean? And I'm like looking around, and then this red guy runs at me and kills me, and I was just like, excuse me? That's a thing? People are just gonna run into my game? Absolutely not. So then I figured out how to turn it offline, and I've been really enjoying not dealing with that. But I can see how it would be, it could make things like more interesting, but also at the same time could make things extremely frustrating depending on when that invasion happens. I think having set areas for PvP would be great. I know when I just beat Artorias, I walked into a fog area and there was like, deathmatch and like other like PvP areas that you could like choose to go into, and I'm like, this is what we needed the entire time, not just me getting ran up on my like third stream of playing this and getting stabbed. So.
Yeah.
I think that's a universal experience for everyone the first time they get invaded. Turning into the Jennifer Lawrence meme. What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? Yeah, no. Yeah, I think everyone's been there. Don't worry about it.
Okay. BC, how do you feel about invasions?
You do you. If you like it, then sure, that's your thing. Not a big fan of it. Think, yeah, like it's already been mentioned, there's particular places that you go to do it, and I don't feel like that should be a thing, personally, to impede on people's like regular gameplay and playthrough. I just don't, because I just say that because Dark Souls 3, I've been around the Souls community and the Souls gaming for a long time. Dark Souls 3 had the most toxic invasion community ever. Like, that was just bad. And people would purposely target new players. Like, it died off for a while. Then when Elden Ring came out, obviously popularity and commercialization of that, people went back and played the other games. And all this old community of like toxic invaders on Dark Souls 3 just woke up again, and they just literally just hung around the starting areas to just invade the new players. They didn't know that you could turn this off, didn't know it was a setting. And it's not an easily discoverable setting anyway. Like, it's not something that FromSoft go, oh, here's this thing. If you don't want it, then, you know, this is where you do it. It's just kind of like, oh, you run into an issue, then you got to try Google it, and you got to do a Reddit deep dive, and how do I turn off from getting shit on by people all the time. But Dark Souls 3 was incredibly difficult, and I know from GG's response, he even knows like a lot about it.
Yeah, there's two main there's like one big area after you beat a boss, Pontiff. I know that that's not going to mean anything to you if you haven't played it yet, but that is a huge invasion spot where people camp, and it is horrific. It's really, really bad. And I don't know why, they're just so mean.
They are.
They're miserable, never touch grass in their lives, you know?
Yeah, but they've got all these like cheats and hacks that don't get them like hard banned, but they come in, invade you, and drop you an item, and it's not something you should have. And as soon as you pick it up, or they put it straight into your inventory, that's it. You can't play online anymore. Like, you can never play with your friends. I ran into that issue. I didn't even know I had an invasion. I had invasions turned off, but you're still online in the game, and people that have the means and ways to do these things can still invade your game without you having the prompt that they've done it, and give you an item, and then as soon as you've got it, that's it. You're just completely hard banned.
That's so icky.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Socks, how are you feeling about invasions? And
I think 1v2 Zonza is the diplomatic one, and I will just go straight ahead and say, to hell with it. I don't think it has anything to do in a single player game whatsoever. At least not when you can't opt out of it, unless you force your game to be played offline, which most people don't know how to do. I never looked back once I finally figured out how to do it. I believe my community helped with it back in the day. I'm not entirely sure. It's been a while at this point, but yeah, no, I personally thought it took away from the experience. I would finally get through an area, and I was super stoked that I would, you know, hit a PB, so to speak, in distance, and then suddenly this fucker shows up out of nowhere and has a fully optimized build. You are level 30, practically no health, and this idiot that has nothing better to do with their lives just comes over and bonks you over the head, so you have to start all over again, and then it happens again and again and again, and you're just like, I don't want to deal with this anymore. I saw also someone in chat mention that streamers are more likely to be targeted by these things, and absolutely, people will go out their way to find streamers that are live and bully them. Like, we are not talking about people that are just like, oh, yay, PvP, I'll invade them. And if they show me any signs that they don't want me there, I will back out, right? It's very rare that you find those people. These are people that will go out of their way to make other people miserable because they have nothing better to do with their lives. So no, I will knock this down hard. I don't care about these people. I think they're horrendous. I don't think they should be in an online space at all. They have nothing to add to it. Get out of my sight. Nope. It's my least favorite feature in all the Souls games.
It's not been enjoyable, and like I know now going forward, like turn off all of the things. Like this is not happening anymore. I don't want that.
If you want a like solid experience, it's better to play offline for sure.
Yeah. All right. So I think we have time for maybe like 2 more questions. So, oh, I'm starting off the next one, which is great, because then I don't have to start the last one. Perfect. I love that for me. This one is, so what's one thing Souls content has taught you about your own creativity? For me, I mean, like the whole boss drawing thing that I've talked about several times, like, no, I'm not getting better at drawing them. If somehow, like, some days it's getting worse. But to like to be able to like take one thing that I'm doing and like turn it into other sources of content, has really been enjoyable. It's not like I don't see a lot of the things about like creating content on multiple spaces like as a job. Like when it comes to Dark Souls, I'm like, yes, like the end of every stream I finish, and then like I instantly go into clipping all of my deaths, and like I have a routine built into it, and like, you know, this death montage is now going to be, if it ended today, it would be 218 deaths, and that's a lot longer than a video than I was anticipating, but it's also a lot shorter than what people were guessing. I think one of my main mods, Pilsy, he guessed I was going to have like 975 deaths, and I feel like I'm getting close to the end, and I'm just like, you know, being all sassy and tossing my hair over my shoulder, and I'm like, I haven't even touched 300 yet, so...
Don't worry, it can still happen.
I'm sure it can. I'm not quite at the end, but I'm sure...
Don't get too cocky. Karma will hit you.
Oh, yeah.
I speak it from experience.
Absolutely. I've seen people who go against the same boss for stream after stream after stream, like 1v2 was saying earlier. But I do really like that it's pushed me into, you know, joining the Firekeepers and getting to know people and hosting things like this. I feel like that is also a creative outlet to like have this conversation and to have this space for us to talk. 1v2, how are you? You know, how has Dark Souls content pushed your creativity, if at all?
I think the creativity comes out like what you touched on last there, is just being part of the Firekeepers, just knowing a lot of people through that, and my creativity comes from like the current event that's going on that a lot of people are doing. GD, you're doing it. So it's, yeah, there's a lot of other events I have planned and good fun, just crazy, chaotic things where it'll just be more of the casual sense and the competitive sense, because I know a lot of people were kind of worried about that initially when it was coming into like, oh, we're doing this event, it's close, and everybody was kind of panicking about certain things. But once they realized, like when I posted like, oh, what you'll be awarded or like judged on stuff, they were like, oh, I've just got to play really horribly and I get rewarded for that. That's cool. I'm in for this. Like, so that's where my creativity is definitely started to be a special interest lately, is just trying to bring people around in a very fun and natural, just be yourself environment.
Socks?
It's kind of hard to say because I'm just naturally creative soul, so I'm not sure how much it's like added on to like creativity in the sense that you guys are speaking about, but it's at least made me more in tune with like my specifically like creative thinking in terms of solutions, like especially with challenge running, like how you need to start looking at problems in an entirely different way than what you would necessarily go for immediately. also in a sense of more about like being more brave about things, like trying out things you've been scared about doing before. Like one of my best friends always say, do it scared. Has definitely been helpful in that regard, more so than like specifically creative personally, like getting to, you know, like actually grabbing onto opportunities when they're presented to you, trying out things that you think you would be bad at, etc., etc. It's probably more so where I feel like I've gotten things from Souls gaming personally, but I can definitely see how it's like brought a lot of creativity into people's lives, and I think that's as a creative person, I think that's amazing. I really love seeing all the creativity around and seeing how inspirational Soulsborne content is for people, because I'm just always so excited when people start being more creative because of things that I already love.
Oh, yeah. I love it. And Gigi?
I would say it maybe not more of a creative thing, but maybe more of a ceiling. So like, I never really thought I would be doing challenge runs, let alone in a Souls game, when I started playing these games. And I mean, you know, here we are years later doing crazy challenges and just keep smashing the ceiling and finding new interesting ways to challenge myself and play the game and still enjoy it after like the 12th time. That's probably what's the most creative, is coming up with challenges. And yes, sometimes people have already done it, so what? I mean, I have a journal of literally every challenge run that I ever think of. Whether it's good or not, that's up for debate. But I mean, I guess that kind of flows into that naturally with the ceiling, right? The ceiling going up higher. I'm like, oh, maybe I can do this, or I can do this challenge. And, you know, it goes in the journal, in the journal. So eventually, hopefully, one day, you'll get to the end of the journal. I don't know.
You never know.
It also, sorry, yeah?
Let's just say you never know.
Oh, yeah. I think also just being able to collaborate with so many different Souls streamers and seeing what they're doing as well can be really inspiring to what you're doing. So you're like, oh, I really like what this person is doing here. Or, oh, Candy, I really like that you're drawing the bosses. Maybe that's something that we can incorporate. Do you know what I mean? Like, and just, it's not that you're stealing people's ideas. I wish, you know, people would not do that. It just feels so negative. It's just like you're an inspiration. You're sharing those ideas with the world.
There's no such thing, if we're going to be honest. There's no such thing as stealing ideas. There's literally no original ideas out there anymore. I think people need to get on board on that train. That, especially in content creation, there's no such thing as stealing. If you want to give credit, if you take in like the entire idea from someone else, by all means, that is a very pleasant thing to do. But I'm so tired of seeing people like, you need to credit this person, that was their idea. It's like, that's not how content creation works. You don't own an idea, you didn't patent it. It's no, I don't like the negative connotations about like stealing ideas. It's always nice if you know them to ask them, would you be okay with me using this idea too, by all means. But
yeah, of course. And I think just like something that I want to see in people's creations is to just be more open about that kind of thing, you know?
Yeah, I feel like it loops back into saying that like imitation is the highest form of flattery.
Yes, I was just thinking about it.
Yeah. So friends, that takes us to our last question. This is the question I ask every single Dark Souls panel. If you were to take an NPC to a karaoke bar, who are you taking and what are they singing? And starting us off with this, no pressure, 1v2.
Ooh. You know what? I'm taking Gale and we're singing Linkin Park in the end.
That's baller.
Just gotta do something epic. He's doing Chester Bedingfield. I'm not attempting that. I don't have the voice for that. I'll do the rap part. I'll be fine with that.
Socks?
I mean, I'm sorry. I live for the chaos, so I'm bringing patches, of course. And I don't know. Maybe we'd sing like "Dancing Queen" by ABBA or something. Just something. I just imagine him singing all the songs that you don't expect him to sing. So yeah.
I feel like he would be so into it.
Yeah, he would be 100. He would be great too. He's one of those like sleeper agents when it comes to singing. Like he starts singing and it's like opera, you know. You just like
Just blown away.
yeah. That's my personal headcanon at this point.
GG.
I would love to take Ishin, and we gotta go sing Dame Dane. So it's a Yakuza karaoke song, and it's kind of just iconic. I gotta take him, and we gotta belt it out. It's a great end.
For me, I feel like I try to change my answer every single time that I've asked this, relating to like what I've recently done in the game. So I'm gonna bring Artorias, and we're gonna find some kind of like, we're gonna be singing some Deftones or All Shall Perish, something where he can do his like big belty scream, and then you know. Like, I will just have all the feels all over again, and that's what it'll end up being.
Love it.
Yeah.
Me too.
So, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today and talking Souls and Souls-like. If you, we're gonna take one more opportunity. Like, tell us, you know, when you're streaming next. What are you doing in stream? Like, tell us about you, and then we'll say goodbye. So, whoever wants to go first, yeah. I'll go first, just to break the ice. I am streaming today. Right after this, I am continuing my playthrough of Dark Souls, and other than that, I'm also doing my very first playthrough of Resident Evil. Trying to also keep into my cozy roots, and I'm playing Stardew, and I'm excited. I have Play Till You Beats of Little Nightmares 1 and 2 scheduled. And yeah, there's also a really sad puppy game that I'm gonna play. It's called, oh, I don't even remember what it's called, but basically you're a dog in heaven, and like you smell your owner get there, and it's your journey through heaven to get to him. And I'm excited to just cry and share that with our community, and you know, keep the variety in our cozy little corner. But yeah.
That sounds so sad.
Yeah, I literally just wishlisted it on Steam the other day. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna play this whenever.
Oh yeah, I'm in a mood for a cry.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll just continue with our circle. 1v2, tell us, you know, what you got going on. When are you streaming next?
I'll be streaming again tomorrow night. That's usually caught in the evenings. Sometimes start early evenings. Just depends on work and what I'm doing, how busy it is. Usually between 5 and 6 UK time. And I'll be straight into my Elden Ring run. Like that is all I'm going to be doing until I get it eventually. I get to save money on games. I get to save money on games because no buying games until I get the run done, and it's great.
Yeah. And
my mod happens soon, so you better be saving up, you know.
My mod just so kindly reminded me, I also have a 10 Hours of Terror stream coming up to celebrate hitting 3K followers, so spinning a wheel of 15 different horror games to see which 10 I play for an hour long each. And
very fun.
Yeah. So sorry to interrupt. Socks, tell us what you got going on next.
Oh, I got a few interesting things coming up. Right now I'm just working my way through the Blasted Colosseum in Hollow Knight. Again, I'm terrible at platformers, so like if you want to watch someone who's really bad at it trying to do a challenge run at the same time, you know where to go. And I have no idea what I'm playing yet, but I'm doing a Valuigi cosplay on Sunday. That I've owed my community from a charity stream for a while now. And I am doing a Resident Evil marathon in December, so for anyone that likes Resident Evil, that's the place to be, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely. And Gigi, what what you got going on next?
I'll be back on Thursday, and we're working on Bioshock, all achievements, one playthrough, survivor difficulty, on a Guitar Hero controller. It is so infuriating, but slowly we're working our way through it. We're in the second chapter. So yeah, I'm also taking part in 1v2's event next week. I'm going to be doing that. So we're going to be doing a blindfolded Bloodborne run with my partner. Sorry, my partner in the event, not my actual partner. So yeah, we're gonna be blindfolded, and I'm really looking forward to that. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So yeah, that's what we got going on.
I love it. Once again, friends, thank you so much for showing interest in the panel and coming in and making time out of your day to join in. And of course, as always, thank you to JenIsOnline for bringing groups of people like us together. So with that, I'm going to say goodbye, so long, and I will see you guys around.
Bye. Thank you so much for having us.
Of course.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, have a great day, friends.
We wave now, right? This
Yeah,
is the
wave.
wave.
Smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave.
Yes, the smile and wave. Have a great day, friends.